How do you manage when you don't feel like you really fit in? What do you do to feel like you belong? Want to find out? I'm Dr. Syra and welcome back to Therapist Thursdays. Today I want to talk to you about this idea of belonging. I read somewhere or I heard somewhere that there's a real difference between these two concepts of fitting in and belonging. Most of us as children are taught to fit in, right? So fitting in means you go along with things, you act like other people, you look around for the clues of how others are doing things, and you just go along. And I know that living in different cities throughout my life, there's always a phase, a period of time where you're just trying to fit in, or at least I am. I remember when I went to Edinburgh in Scotland and I had to learn how to use certain phrases in order to fit in. So one example was pants. So apparently in Scotland, pants means underwear, which I was not aware of. So I'm talking to my friends about how I've been wearing the same pants to the club the last 3 nights in a row and they really start smelling like smoke, but I'm just going to keep wearing them. And these people, these new people who I had barely met, were just looking at each other like, and I didn't know what I had said, but I just kind of brushed it off later when I learned that pants means like what you wear under your pants. I realized how dirty and nasty they thought I was. So during that time of like learning the vernacular and learning your way around, there may be things you do to fit in. And at some point, fitting in isn't enough, right? At some point in our lives, it's not enough to just be part of the group and kind of be a chameleon where you can just go everywhere. At some point, you want to feel that sense of belonging because fitting in does not fill your tank. Fitting in does not satisfy that soul need for connection with another, but belonging does. So how do you belong? How do you belong in whatever group you're in, whether that's a family group, whether that's in your community, whether that's at work, wherever, the gym, wherever it is that you want to belong? What do? Well, in order to belong, you kind of have to know who you are first, right? Fitting in is where you adjust yourself to make other people comfortable. That's what fitting in is about. Whereas belonging is really knowing who you are and then recognizing when the right people come into your environment, right? And so it's a different tone altogether. It's not as frantic. Belonging is a journey inward rather than fitting in, which is looking outward and trying to figure out how to do this. If you think about your own life, there may be maybe 1 or 2 people even who when you're with them, you just feel the sense of belonging. You feel like, you get each other, you're on the same page. And for some of us, belonging will just be to that 1 or 2 people in our lives that really know us and understand us. Other people might have a small group. And I know as a kid, I was so jealous of these like groups of girls, right? There's these groups and I never had a group and I never belonged to a group, and I'd always watch and yearn to be part of the group, and I never was. But I had 2 friends. Since I was in, kindergarten, I had these 2 friends that didn't really know each other because one was from my school community, one was from my faith community, and because of them, individually, when I was in those spaces, I felt a sense of belonging. And so you really only need 1 person in the entire context who gets you. But they won't get you if you're not being honest about who you are to yourself in the world, right? So those are my thoughts about fitting in, belonging. Look at your own communities, your own circles, and think about, do I just fit in here or am I really belonging? This is a little bit of a shorter one because I don't just need to go on and on and on to fill the 6 minutes, right? End it there. So we'll see you next week. Make sure you leave your comments below your thoughts about belonging and fitting in, and what are some of your funny stories about how you were trying to fit in and didn't really do a good job of it. Hopefully you didn't do the pants thing. See you next week.